All right. Good afternoon. Uh, Certainly glad to come into this press conference after an academy win. Those are so those are so challenging. Just the emotion that goes into it, the preparation and the fight on Saturday. Our guys were certainly excited to win the game, as were all of us, the coaching staff, the support staff. Everybody just pours a lot into those games, and they mean so much to our program and this academy and all the men and women that we represent. So just really proud to get the victory. It was hard fought as they always are. I know we talked leading up to this game just how difficult these games are to win, and Saturday was just proof. And both teams were really fighting hard and trying to win the game. And fortunately, we came away with the victory. So proud of our guys, and now the challenge is turning our attention to Temple and putting that one behind us. And as I said, those are emotional games, and we put so much into it, not just in the week or weeks leading up to it, but the entire year. And so obviously we're faced with another big football game here at home on Saturday, and so we've kind of pushed our attention toward that.
Rich, you want to kick us off?
Absolutely. Obviously, the emotional win over Air Force. How do you refocus? Is there a challenge? And I guess the question is, to get to is, what kind of opportunity now does Temple present after coming off what was a great opportunity at Air Force?
Well, obviously, to play a game like that, to travel out there, it takes a lot out of a team. Um, Physically, I mean, that was a physical football game. Our guys came in here on Sunday and they were just, beat up and banged up, and they were, there were guys running into each other with full force, everything they had on Saturday, trying to win a game, and that's what makes the game so much fun, uh, especially when you win. Not much fun to lose those games. Certainly fun to win them, but it was a hard fought game, a very physical football game. But also it takes an emotional toll, just the high and the excitement of competing in the game, winning the game. So a lot of challenges. One, to get physically healthy and to refocus. But we've got we've got enough veteran players that I don't think they're distracted by um, what's happened in the past. They can move on to the next game and get prepared for Temple, and really that's what we challenged them to do on Sunday night. We went out and practiced. We had meetings and a lift like we normally do. Went out and practiced, and thought the guys did a good job. And so we'll get back to it this afternoon.
Sold out crowd, November, and the game, you need, right? You need every game, right? How excited are you for this game on Saturday?
We're excited to be coming back home again. We've only played 3 times. It's November. We've only played 3 games at home this year so far. So excited to be back at home and here at Mikey Stadium. Uh, it's it's uh, it's fantastic to know that we've got a sold out crowd, and I just hope we'll play well enough to make their tickets worthwhile. And you know our our players. Uh, they know and respect Temple, and just how well coached they are and how good of a football team they are. And when Temple hired Casey Keeler, um, I mean that day I said they're going to be a lot better. And he's won everywhere he's been. It hasn't taken him very long, most places that he's been, and that's the case with Temple. I mean, they got a really good football team and battling with the best teams in the league right now. So it's going to be a huge challenge. Our guys realize that, and they can see how athletic they are, how talented they are, how well coached they are, and so it's a big game for us, and it's one game, and that's all we're focusing on right now is that.
And Jeff, just one more question. When I got back from Colorado, watched the game on television to relive it. CBS showed a bit of a back and forth between the Army and Air Force staffs heading into the tunnel. What was that like from your perspective of what happened?
Oh, it's a big rivalry. Um, and everybody that's involved in the rivalry is competitive. And so, before the game, during the game, after the game, it's the whole thing. There's a lot of banter, and there's over time animosity builds up, and it's just that's what these academy games are. They're not they're not friendly rivalries. They're games that both teams desperately want to win. Um, and I'm certain it's probably the same way in other sports. I don't know, but just a lot of talk and chatter before the game, and anytime players are passing each other, there's just a lot of stuff being said from both sides, and it's just guys that want to compete and guys that uh, are really excited about playing their rival and wanting to win so bad, and it spilled over with coaches saying things, and everybody that's involved is emotionally invested, and so things got said, and I guess that turned into some folks maybe feeling like they had to you know stand up to somebody or something like that. It happens. It's competition. It's not necessarily what we like to see happen, but emotions are charged at that point, and it didn't escalate into anything more than people just yelling at each other and pointing fingers at each other. So that's part of the competition.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
Kevin McMillan?
Jeff, just to follow on that, were there any follow-ups by the athletic directors or league commissioners about that? I mean, again, it didn't blow up, but I'm sure they don't want to see that either.
It happens all the time in college football. That those things happen uh, all the time, particularly in rivalry games, where players and coaches and staffs and people are very emotionally invested, and they talk, and there's that banter going back and forth, and um, it happens. It's not as I said, it didn't escalate into anything more than people yelling at each other and pointing fingers, and it's just competition. That's just people getting ready to square off and play a football game.
Jeff, you guys have won 7 of the last 9 meetings with Air Force. You won 3 in a row for the first time in about 45 years. Has the tide turned, and can you explain the dominance in these last 9 meetings?
They're all independent of each other, each game, and I really feel that way. That that how many times one team's beaten the other in so many years. It starts all over every year, and certainly, Saturday was an example of that. I mean, it's just a very closely contested game, and it went right down to the very last play of the game, and we were fortunate to win. And our guys played really hard and really tough, and their guys played really hard and really tough, and we came away with the victory. So I don't know that I have any thought on any certain number of games other than just this one. It was a hard game to win. I'm glad we won it. I'm glad we found a way.
If you had to put a finger on what did you do so particularly well on Saturday, and was there anything surprising about any of your performances for your Army players?
Well, one, I thought we kicked the ball really well. I thought our punter did a great job kicking, punting the ball, and changing field position. And those games are always uh, very closely tied to field position. Our kickoff specialist kicked every ball into the end zone, no returnable balls, and our field goal kicker hit 2 big field goals. And so I thought the specialists did a really good job, the holder and the snapper, and all those guys in the operations. That was really key, and making field goals in this game. That those make a big difference. So defensively, um, I thought our guys, getting those interceptions were really key, and the obviously the cause fumble there in the fourth quarter. I mean, they were knocking on the door and in position to tie it up. As it turns out, we went 4 and out, and they turned right around and scored. But just a big play, and so those turnovers were huge. I thought our guys did a good job of keeping big plays in front of them. And Air Force has been such a big play team this year, really, to their credit. A lot of big pass plays, and they've hit some perimeter run plays, and their quarterback is really having a good year, and he's a good player. And our defense kept those plays in front of them. That was, I think, really important from that side of the ball. And offensively, just being able to answer. They went up 3-0, and then we were able to put a drive together to go up 7-3. The first turnover, we got the interception, and we got 3 points out of it. We certainly would have liked to have gotten more. Made an error on alignments on a formation, and negated a play that kind of put us down there inside the 10-yard line. But we were able to get 3 points out of it, which was big. And then in the second half, their offense really dominated the second half. They had 2 drives, which took up the entire third quarter, with the exception of 3 plays and a punt by us. The first drive, they didn't get points, but they scored just before the end of the third quarter to tie it up 10-10, and kicked off to us on I guess it was the last play of the third quarter. And then we took a drive and went down and scored and went up 17-10. I mean, just the ability for our offense to be able to answer at those moments were big. I thought those were from each one of our units, probably the things that we did best.
And just to look ahead to Temple, what is it that Temple does particularly well? And we see Evan Simon, 21 touchdown passes, leads the AAC. What are your thoughts on Temple?
One, they're very talented and very well coached. As I said to Rich, that Casey Keeler's an outstanding coach, and I knew that they would have a good football team in the first year, that he'd have a plan and he'd get a roster put together, and he has. And it includes guys both that have been in their program, that they've continued to develop, as well as guys that they've brought in from other programs through the portal, and they've done a really nice job putting a good team together. Very balanced on offense, as you mentioned, just the touchdown passes, and but defensively, they've played really tough and really sound defense. There's been times where it doesn't have anything to do with talent or coaching. Sometimes guys just make plays from other teams. There's good players in this league, and there's good players they faced, and they made plays. And it's a team that has lost 4 football games. 2 of those games have been to people that are teams that have spent time in the top 10, Oklahoma and Georgia Tech. And the other 2 are teams in this league that are still in contention for a league championship. So they've lost some games, but they've lost to some good teams. And they beat some good football teams. So I just think very balanced, do a really good job in the kicking game. And as I said, I think they're well coached and well prepared.
Austin, go ahead and start with the people on Zoom.
We'll go to Joe Iacono first. Go Black Knights. Joe, go ahead.
Thanks, Austin. Coach Monken, first question, I understand running is absolutely 100% the key to the success of your offense and Coach Worley's offense. But you guys were able to connect on a couple deep shots against Air Force with Noah Short and Brady Anderson. And then there was another one that you guys just missed. And then there was the other one. There was the PI call on Air Force. How important, and it seems like Kale is getting maybe more accurate and better at throwing balls as the season goes along. How important is it to have that element of your offense where at least teams have to at least think about it with their safeties, where they can't just be, flying and dropping them into the box all the time?
Certainly, we hope that at least they've got to honor the receivers and the routes and the people on the perimeter. People defend us differently, just by nature, because of the option element of what we do. They defend us differently, and some of it has to do as well with the people they have and the people we have. and what they think they can do to play a defense where they stop the run as well as play the pass. And we got fortunate Saturday. We got behind them a couple of times. We had, as you mentioned, the pass interference call, and we had another deep shot that we took at Noah and overthrew him, and I think probably the pass interference was a little bit of an overthrow too, but he hit a couple of those big ones that really counted. The one to Noah early in the game, I thought was a really great throw. There was a safety coming from the other side of the field, and he kind of threw it away from that safety, and Noah had gotten behind the guy that was covering him, and then on the shot to Brady, we had just a twins route out there, and Brady got behind his guy, and it's not an easy throw, but he just put it right on the money, and there was enough just enough air that he could get underneath it, and Brady did a really nice job catching it. Their guy was actually in decent position at the end of the throw, and Brady caught it and got tackled immediately. They were kind of in the air together, but it was just enough to get on top. And so, having the opportunity to hit those plays certainly made a difference in the game. And perhaps other people recognize that and say, well, they can still hit a deep shot, and they've got to honor it. But as I said, playing an option football team, even for us, when we play option football teams, we defend them differently than we do everybody else.
And then my follow-up and final question, you kind of mentioned this when talking about Temple and their competitiveness and the teams they've lost to. Just the American Conference as a whole has been kind of wild this year. When you look at it, Memphis loses to UAB, comes back, beats South Florida. South Florida puts one on North Texas, beats them by 4 touchdowns. You guys have been in some really tight games. Temple had a tough loss to ECU last week, but they played really well the most of the season. I know as a coach, you probably don't get to see all the other games, but what does that say about the competitiveness of the league? And the fact that really on any given Saturday, any team can beat another team, it seems like.
It is a really competitive league and a very talented league, well coached, and there's a bunch of teams there kind of pushed toward the top that all have a chance to play in the conference championship. So it's going to be interesting to watch down the stretch and kind of see who emerges. But all those teams you mentioned, they're all very good football teams, and we've played some really good teams in this league. Obviously Tulane, that game a couple of weeks ago, they've got a really good football team, and our guys fought and battled. The East Carolina, I mean, they just keep getting better and we certainly thought they had a great football team. We played them that night in Greenville. They're talented. They're outstanding on defense, and they've been scoring a lot of points and really putting up numbers on offense. And North Texas, they're just a scoring machine. They're doing that on everybody. That quarterback is really special. So those are 3 teams in the league that all have a chance to be in the league championship, and so just a lot of respect for the coaches and the teams and the players in this league. It's certainly, in my opinion, the top group of 5 conference in the country.
Thanks, Coach.
We'll go now to Ken Kreitzer, CamVets Media. Ken, go ahead. Ken, you're on mute.
Ken there?
Ken, you're on mute.
If he doesn't get it, Austin, we're going to wrap up here. Give him another 10 seconds.
Ken will catch me at practice.
Yep. All right, we're going to wrap it up, Austin.
All right.
Thanks everybody.